Hello you beautiful legends, and welcome on this gloomy afternoon of 22nd of April. It's Tuesday after Easter weekend, and I wanted to make sure that I will give you an update as usual. Today was the first day off work after all those 4 days, because we started Friday evening and didn't finish until yesterday late afternoon, early evening. It was completely opposite to what we were expecting. So before Easter we were kind of thinking that there might be a lot of people, so it might be busy. But the closer we got to Easter and we saw the number of bookings and the weather, that it wasn't the best, we realized that actually it might be quite quiet. And eventually it turned out to be quite crazy. So Saturday, Sunday and Monday were very busy days. And while it's good for the business, it's not necessarily good for mental health and physical health on my end. So we decided to take a day off. As normal, it's still out of season, so there's no point in being open during the week. We were quite on the fence, because we saw that some other saunas decided to stay open for the rest of the week. You know, maybe I was thinking in a way that, you know, this week a lot of kids are still off school, so maybe parents came for a longer holiday, maybe they extended beyond the Easter weekend. I couldn't really care less about it, because I was flat out. I wanted to take a break. Doesn't matter how many customers would want the sauna, simply because I'm also a human being and I need some rest. And besides, if someone would like to get a sauna today, I would just redirect it to one of our friends that are operating in the same area. They were open, so they could serve potential customers if needed. So no loss on customer end or our end. It was fine. And to be honest, it was a good decision. Turns out today is the most miserable weather of all. We were at the beach in Rosnala. It was empty, it was dead. There might have been 2 or 3 walkers here and there, but in general, barely any cars came in. There was one kite surfer that came in with wing, because the wind is quite strong, so it's good for surfing, especially if you have wetsuit. It doesn't matter really that much, as long as there is wind and some waves, then it's obviously good condition for kites or kite surfing. So very good day to take off, because we wouldn't have any customers anyway. But also we decided to go with the sauna ourselves. So the booking system remained closed, and first in the morning I went to restock our wood supply, and then afterwards we drove to the bakery shack, got a coffee and some snacks and some food for Julian because he was starting to get hungry after the breakfast. It was long enough, so he got some baguettes toasted with some whatever gammon and cheddar. And yeah, we took some snacks, some sweets with Elizabeth. She got some tea, I got some coffee, and we went onto the beach. But before we actually went to the bakery shack, we drove with the sauna, we stayed at the slip, we parked the car, we went for a short walk. Well, not so short because it was almost 6 kilometers, 5.7 I think. So we went towards Rosnola Lower, and then we returned the loop via the road, and we just made it to the car when it started raining. So we kind of were lucky enough to use the gap where it wasn't that bad. It was only windy and maybe a little bit of rain, but not much. And then we went to bakery shack. We came back with the sauna again, and then we drove to the beach. Sand was very wet, and I was a little bit worried because wet sand is usually quite soft and difficult sometimes, but we a little bit risked it. I checked the sand condition, wasn't that terrible, so we stayed there. Julian stayed in the car and played some games on the phone, while Elizabeth and myself, we did our sauna session, and we were pretty much alone on the beach. There was 1 or 2 cars that came in, stayed for a couple of minutes and went back, so there was literally no one at the beach, almost like a private setting. It was raining, it was windy, but it felt good. When you have sauna, it doesn't matter. It actually is a pretty nice experience when you walk to the ocean and you have those waves and the rain is there and the wind. It's just another experience. You feel elements, like the raw elements, and then you go to the cozy sauna that is nice and warm. So yeah, we enjoyed that, and then we returned home. I'm now going to get some groceries and prep the dinner, and that will be it. Chilling in the evening. While we were at the beach, a friend popped up, and he was with a dog, a lovely small kind of puppy, a Labrador, and I was able to kind of cuddle it a bit and pet it, and Julian also got a bit of cuteness overload, and on the way back home he was saying that it increased his need or want for the puppy or dog by 200%. So I assume it means it was enjoyable. So that's pretty much it. That's the update for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Have a great rest of the day, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Stay tuned and see you again in tomorrow's episode.